shock of losing. Yes, hi, what's your name?
Hi, my name's Joe.
Jerry?
My name's Joe.
Joe. It's the only way you can turn 2 letters into like 3 syllables in Australia. Joe. Yes. That's a compliment, by the way. That's not a diss.
I read on Twitter that in Sydney yesterday you told a story about Kim Manners, and I was wondering if you could share that with us today.
The story about Kim Manners? Okay, I'm very fragile because I'm very tired, and this is going to make me cry, and that really made me cry. You guys know who Kim Manners is, right?
Yes.
Did you know him all through the seasons? Did you guys always know who he was?
Yes.
How do you guys even know that stuff? Like, he's a writer, he's executive producer. Is that what it is? But you guys, it's funny about the fandom from this show. It never fails to amaze me that you guys know so many things that other people just don't know. And it's not even just, it's other shows. Fans of other shows don't even know some of the stuff that you guys know. Like, I've seen stuff, and I'm like, how do they even know that? I mean, I think it's great. I don't know how. I guess it's just modern technology. Is it just a computer? Is it Twitter? Is it Facebook? Is it whatever? It's a combination of everything, isn't it? Okay, Kim Manners. What we were talking about yesterday was, have you guys seen the last episode that Joe and I were in where we go out in a blaze of glory? Does anybody not know that story yet? I know that episode hasn't even aired here. You did? So I'm not telling anybody news that they didn't. Phew, because there was a girl yesterday. I just felt that we told her there was no... Is there any small children here? There was no sin. You know, I'm not going to say that out loud just in case. I completely... And somebody may still... And he does exist. He's lovely. We go out, obviously, and when we were shooting the last scene where it's Joe and I on the ground, and I turn around, and the way the shot is set up is I'm supposed to just turn around and look at Dean and say, and Dean, don't miss. And, oh, it's going to make me cry. Brad, the camera operator, he was such a good guy. Brad, the camera operator, comes up to me very quietly, and they're very respectful. The cast and crew, of all the shows that I've ever worked on, this cast and crew, they're like family, they're wonderful people. They're very good to each other. It was our last scene, it was a very emotional scene, it was a long scene. And they quietened down, everybody got very quiet. And they turned the lights down, and everybody, you know, the crew were very respectful of Alona and I, because we were tired and we'd been crying for hours, and it was our last shoot, and it was tough. And Brad came up to me very quietly and just said, when you turn around this next take, and we were way behind, we were hours behind, and he came up and he whispered in my ear, when you turn around, can you say kick it in the ass? And I just thought, oh my God, what a great idea. And he hadn't told anybody else. You guys know kick it in the ass? Of course you do, you guys know more than I do about the show. For those of you who don't know, by the way, I'll do it really quickly. Kim Manners was a director for the show. He's directed hundreds of hours of television, and he was one of the most loved guys out there, and just a gruff tough little drinking, tobacco chewing guy, but he loved his cast and crew. He was absolutely adored by the boys. He was adored by the people he worked with. He was very well respected. And he was one of those guys, when he always directed, he directed more episodes, I think, than anybody else. He would always say, and action, kick it in the ass, which just means, you know, knock it out of the park, go and do something huge. So Brad came up and said, when you turn around, instead of saying, Dean, don't miss, he said, can you say kick it in the ass? So I'm like, wow, what a great idea. So we're very quiet, and we turn around, and we're way behind, and I turn around and I say this. Dead silence. Dead silence. Cast, crew. Phil, the director, doesn't even say anything, because everybody was just, it kind of got everybody. They didn't know it was coming. And I'm like, I can't get fired because because nobody was saying anything. I'm like, what? Wow, okay, am I getting shit here? And they were just so, nobody knew, and afterwards, when we cut the scene, there were people crying, the props girl was crying because nobody saw it. We're so close to this guy. Anyway, so we turned around and we said it, and then I looked back and waiting for Phil to say something as director, and he said, and we were so far behind, but he goes, do it again. So we did it again, and he goes, now do it again, and then follow it up with, and Dean, don't miss. So we did it again. By that time, everybody's crying. We're getting emotional. Turned around and said it again. And said, and Dean, don't miss. So they were only going to take one of them, but they ended up putting both of them in there. And it was a dedication to, they didn't say it on the screen, but that was definitely, they put that in for Kim Manners. They put a lot of things in for, I mean, you guys have seen little, they make fun. You can see it in little bits, and that's a great thing about the show, is you have to be a fan, but they always put little things in that only you guys would understand, that you guys would get. Which is actually, Eric's good that way. He takes you guys as very able, and be able to recognize little subtle things that fans, people just tuning in, wouldn't get. And I think he does that intentionally. He's very big on the fan base. Anyway, that is the story of Kim Manners. I hope that explains it for you. It was... No, that's okay. You know what? There was a lot of shocking things about that. And the biggest one is nobody really knew. People knew that he was sick. And it's funny because I knew he used to go to a restaurant every Saturday morning. My brother used to serve him, and he liked his booze. And he would always come in, "Hey, Tim, how's your sister? Jesus, we're going to see her in a couple of weeks. How's she looking? Blah, 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 blah." You know, he was very nice. And my brother kind of knew, because my brother saw him all the time, and he knew he wasn't looking that great. I didn't see him in a while, so he was just, you knew he wasn't great. Only the boys really knew that he was quite sick. And he was going back and forth from LA, because a lot of the producers do. He originally lived there, and he went back one weekend, and they expect him to come back on Monday and work, and he died. And he died, I think, on the Friday or the Sunday or something before he was supposed to come back. So it was a huge shock because they were so close. And he didn't tell anybody. I think it was he didn't even know that it was going to happen right then and there. But he wouldn't have told anybody anyway. He wasn't that guy. He didn't want self-pity. He didn't want people to feel sorry for him. He didn't want the millions of phone calls, the awkward, "What do you say? Hey, man, how's it going? I'm dying." He wasn't that guy. And it was such a testament to who he was. It showed incredible class that he let go. He just went quietly and let go and knew what he was leaving behind and knew that he was leaving the boys, but he didn't want to put anybody in an awkward position. So he drifted off. And his poor wife, his wife is just beside herself. And that crew and the cast and the executive producer, I'm gonna cry again, they'll never be the same without him. But what are you gonna do? Cancer affects. Every single one of us knows somebody that's affected by cancer. One of my best friends died on Christmas Eve of cancer. She's 48 years old. She got 2 kids. It's one of those things, and people handle it very differently. There's a big drama, and he just wasn't going to be that guy, and I think that's such a huge testament to who he was. He was like, "Hey guys, we're all going, so I'm going to go quietly and keep the legacy." And that's another great thing about that is he did a lot in his life, and there's a legacy. I have a great postcard on my fridge that says Kim Manners, a son, a dad, a husband, a father, a friend, a director, and it's a picture of him doing kind of one of these, and it was from the old X-Files days, and he looked a lot younger, and a hell of a lot better than he did when he died. But we've all got a memory, and you only hope that you leave something behind, that you have other people to remember you by, and he's got a lot to be remembered by. And would he do it any other way? Probably not. He never was going to give up the tobacco, and he was never going to give up the booze. So that was a choice, and he said, "I'm not going to do it." It was a choice that he made. He knew where it was going, and he's a rough ride kind of guy. It's just like, you know what, it was fun, guys. Thanks for everything. So it was lovely, very lovely. Thanks.
Okay, everyone, if we can have all cameras away now.